I remember just like going to her room one day and just being like, you know what, I'm going a little nuts. Like, let's just go outside, let's take our cameras and let's just like take portraits of each other in the backyard, even if we can't go anywhere.
Welcome to Wander By Proxy, a podcast featuring women's travel stories that connect them more to themselves in the world around them. I'm Leah Fallon, and today's episode is a little different. I thought I'd take a step back from travel stories this week and dive into another topic I've been thinking a lot about since March, which is how to keep the adventurous spirit alive during a pandemic. In this case, we'll be talking with two photographers about how creativity can fill that cup adventurers love. Jordan Mileski and Emily Theisen, two Minnesota-based creatives that happen to be roommates, seem to just ooze creativity. Here's Jordan first, then Emily will be the second voice you hear.
We're really lucky because we're roommates. So social distancing still means that we get to be together quite a bit, and that's a huge blessing, I think, for both of us. The challenge was definitely, shutdown happened, and it was almost this like, wow, I'm going to get so much time to work on all these projects that I haven't had time for before. And then a few weeks into it, it was like, oh my gosh, I have no motivation and my creativity is gone. I don't know where it went. So at first, I would say maybe even the first 3 months, it was really a challenge to have any desire to work on anything creative. And I think that was a lot of people that also experienced that with us. I don't know that it was just me, and I know Emily can also say a few words too about this. And then I got a few jobs. I got a few photo jobs, which I was really fortunate that we were all cool with wearing masks and social distancing, and it was outdoors. So it worked out okay. And I think it kind of kicked my butt back in gear. So I was like, okay, I'm going to pick up film photography. I'm going to do a few logo designs, more for fun than anything. And then after I started just pushing myself, then it all the flow came back a lot faster than I had expected it to. And it was just a matter of pushing through for me.
Yeah, I think for both of us, it was just amazing having each other as roommates during this hard time because there's so many people that were just alone and going crazy, quarantining themselves and all that kind of stuff. And I definitely think the first couple months were very hard on both of us and didn't know really where my business was going at the time because this is like my third professional year in wedding photography and all of that. And it kind of put a pause on my business for a little bit, and I didn't know, I was scared, I didn't know where it was going. I wasn't making any money during this time and just really nervous and shook. And so I kind of shut down myself a little for a little bit, but then I think we started to both, speaking for both Jordan and I a little bit on this, we just kind of had to kick each other in gear and kind of just it had to woke up one day almost and it was just like, okay, got to get back to business here. Like, come on, like positive, trying to just stay positive and keep that mindset going because a lot of it is mind over matter. And I think what definitely helped me through that time was having Jordan too. I remember just like going to her room one day and just being like, you know what, I'm going a little nuts. Like, let's just go outside, let's take our cameras and let's just like take portraits of each other in the backyard, even if we can't go anywhere. And that's exactly what we did. And we just kept pushing each other and ourselves to just keep that creative mindset going. And I was also just doing a lot of like reading a lot of books, not like book books, but more like poetry books, I guess, kind of just keeping the mind going and the flow going and the creative juices going and just drawing every once in a while for fun on my tablet. And recently what's kept me kind of going too was watching a lot of documentaries and just kind of keeping up on that. And one of the most recent things for me has been watching Charlie Savely's creative workshop. I got that as a birthday gift, and so it gave me a whole creative idea on just to keep pushing myself and that, because it's hard as artists to constantly have those creative juices going. There's always going to be like creative blocks that we're going to have and all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of just finding different ways to get out of those creative blocks. And it might be different every time, but once you get out of that creative block and you're back in the flow, it's like you're just put back in gear again and you're just going, which feels amazing. So, but it was definitely key having each other, I think, during that time. That was probably number one for me that kind of kept both of us going.
Do you remember too, one thing that we did that really didn't have a lot of creativity to it, but we started fishing.
Oh yeah, that's right. We did. We were fishing like every day. We would go down to the dock.
Wouldn't catch much.
Yeah. So Jordan, she actually, her and her husband live on the river here in Brainerd, or Pillager, I should say, and I rent from them. And so that was another thing, just going down in our backyard and going down to the dock and just putting some leeches and worms on our line and just casting it out and catching some fish. It was so relaxing and just like...
It was a huge blessing.
Yeah.
Because I know, and I think I can speak for both of us when I say this, but we both need the outdoors.
Yeah.
And we need to be able to get outside, and whether we're taking pictures or not, I think fishing it was a really good thing for us.
Yeah, totally.
I'm not a fisher woman.
No, and I was like, I haven't fished since I was so young, and it was like just bring back all these fun memories and nostalgia, and just kind of I don't know, it was something random that took us back from that creative area and got us back into that creative mindset. So that was really, really fun to have that.
That's so cool. Yeah, no, and I completely understand what you're saying. And I find that probably many people are kind of going into those like simpler activities that you don't have to be around a ton of people, and you're enjoying the outdoors and not sitting inside your apartment or house or anything. And yeah, so that's great. That sounds like a great activity to kind of, and especially to spark that creativity that you guys wanted. And I also really liked what you guys were saying about like, as a creative, you don't always have those juices flowing. And so it's kind of that balance between having the creative bursts and like other times you just have to put your foot down and do the work type of thing. So Jordan, like, how did you overcome that creative obstacle?
I think at first it was really hard, even feeling like I was going to get past that sort of creative block. But after the day where we both kind of just decided it was time, we needed to get out and shoot, even if we didn't end up with any photos we liked, it was just time to get out there. It sort of started the ball rolling, and it was a very slow roll at first. And I think maybe I didn't even notice it, but after a little bit, it's like, oh yeah, I have those photos. I need to take a look at those on my computer. And then after that, it's like, oh, I actually kind of like this one. And then after that, you're like, oh, you know what would be really cool? We've got a clothesline. What if we like put some sheets up on the clothesline and just did a sunrise or something, even if it's not significant, it's not like, oh, we're going to the North Shore for the weekend. Oh, we've got models and we're going to go do this fabulous shoot. It's, you know what, the light looks kind of nice right now. And I think I'm just going to go in the field and, do a little dance or whatever. So it's a really, really small steps. But then after a little while, your brain sort of starts figuring it out again. And I think for us too, fishing was great because we didn't need to have any creativity. We could just go sit on the dock and enjoy being outside. But then after you get enough time where your brain's relaxed, it's like, oh, you know what? I kind of had this cool idea. And now I'm a little bit more motivated. So I think I'm going to try it.
That's great. That's awesome. And it's kind of funny because this conversation started as like about adventure, but we're getting into more the creative process. So do you find that being creative fuels your adventurous spirit, or what do you think the parallel is there?
I really think so. I would have probably never started traveling if I didn't want to go take the photos at those places. So for me, photography is almost more of an excuse to travel than the opposite. And so many times you go to take that photo and you don't end up ever taking it. You end up somewhere totally different. And that's part of the adventure. And that's why it's so fun. So I've grown to appreciate traveling more and more, but I don't think that if I, wanted to go to a certain spot or wanted to go take a certain photo, I don't know that I would really have traveled as much as I have. I'm curious now. Yeah. Do you think, because for me, it's like, okay, the motive is the photo, Like, I want to take the photo.
Yeah.
For you, is the motive more like, okay, I have this vision I want to go execute, or is this like, I need to go to this place and explore it, and while I'm there, I'm going to take photos?
I think it goes both ways, because sometimes I totally have a vision and like, I'm like, oh my God, I have this idea of this like photo that I want to take, and I'm going to go chase it. I'm going to go get it. And then other times, and and that's kind of what gets my foot out the door. And other times I just have to completely tell myself, just go, and like, you don't know what you're going to get, but that's fine. Just like, go enjoy nature. It's almost like those are almost the days where I contemplate even bringing my camera with me. It's like, go on this hike without your camera for once, or do this without your camera, or whatever. So sometimes I think it's important to also do that, and when to put your phones down, social media down, take a break from social media, all of that stuff. And then it kind of refuels my adventurous juices when I can just completely put everything down and clear the mind and have a completely fresh mind the next week or the next month or something like that. So yeah, that's kind of for me, I guess, sometimes.
Absolutely. Kind of reminds you of why you are doing what you do. And
yeah, cool. For sure. And our good friend Ashley Redimus, who I'm sure you follow on Instagram, has amazing work. She does like meditations and all that kind of stuff, and yoga retreats. So there's that side too. I think that's really important to like tap into your your third eye kind of a thing. Just kind of breathe, meditate, and get out there.
And I think I've seen a lot of other creatives. It's simple things like, okay, I'm buying a bunch of plants today. And I know we both did that too.
Oh, yeah.
Gardening, the fishing, Ashley and her yoga and her retreats and stuff has been really fun to watch. Mm-hmm. Seen a lot of people take up these sort of more simplified outdoor hobbies because there's the need and there's the drive to go outside. Like, your brain wants it so bad. And so it's like, okay, well, maybe I can't drive 5 hours to the North Shore. Maybe I shouldn't go be, in that small community that could get COVID really easily if I go up there and bring it to them. What's something I can do that's more simple? Okay, let's start a garden. Let's do something. I'm going to build a tree fort. And I think we've both seen that with a lot of people that are friends with us.
Oh, yeah.
Just people we meet on social media, and they're like, oh, yeah, I haven't taken photos in forever, but hey, I got like all these cool peppers growing in my garden.
Yeah, well, and it's funny that Jordan brings up the gardening. We both got into gardening heavily during COVID at the beginning, and this was something that kind of, I don't know, it just felt nice and peaceful to go get plants and like put our hands in the dirt and just like in touch with Mother Nature and just kind of do something else, and it just felt good. The gardening was definitely a key part too.
I had a bridal shoot, like a stage shoot, right? It's not a real bride. They're married, they're a beautiful couple, and I just messaged them. I said, hey, like, I've got this idea. Would you be, if I got it all put together, would you be down to be my models? And they said sure. And it was really fun to work with these guys. So that was a great shoot, and was really glad with the end result. I think what it was is I had so much, I don't want to overuse the term creative juice, right? It's actually kind of a weird term to me, but I had so much of that stored up from not being able to shoot for a while that I ended up kind of going all out with a shoot. So we had, smoke bombs, and my husband made us backdrop, and we had all these flowers and these props that I had bought. It was really fun. So that was a great sort of way to almost like vomit out all the things that I had been wanting to try for a long time. And then also, so that was kind of like okay, let's speed things up a little and get really creative here. And then also shooting film more and more lately has been sort of okay, it's like, let's take a step back, let's breathe a little bit, let's think about everything that we're trying to do a little bit more carefully. So I recently got a few rolls of film back that have been really fun, just shooting up on the North Shore and kind of appreciating taking things slow a little bit more. So those have been two really fun things for me lately.
It's great that Jordan brought up the film stuff again, because she's kind of getting me back into that realm as well, which is awesome. I have a couple film cameras from my grandparents they gave to me before my grandpa passed away. So I've been diving into getting some film for those. And Jordan actually for my birthday bought me some film and some gift cards and stuff to kind of finally dip my toe back into that, because film can be expensive and it's definitely a different investment that you're making and stuff. So she's kind of helping me get my foot back into the door with film as well, which I'm super thankful for.
I feel like you've been drawing a lot more lately as well.
Drawing?
Yeah. You got really into drawing for a while on your iPad.
Yeah, I was getting back into, I got this cool, the iPad tablet with, it's got Procreate on it, and I was just going ham at it for a while, and which was awesome. It definitely helped me during COVID, but then after, things kind of slowed down a little bit, like with COVID stuff. I wouldn't say like completely slowed down, but people were still trying to get married, obviously, and not a lot of my clients wanted to push that back a couple years. So they more went towards the elopement side, which is fine by me. I had so much fun doing that. And I had a really busy, crazy season, which I was so fortunate and so happy to have that. So then I kind of stepped back from my drawings a little bit because I was so busy with my photography. But now that my photography is kind of slowing down and wedding season is coming to an end, I can finally dip my toes back into drawing as well as getting back into film, which will be a lot of fun.
That all sounds really fun. Can't wait to see more.
Yeah. Thanks.
Is there anything else you'd like to share?
To anybody who's listening who might be still feeling that block, just reach out to some friends or even reach out to us. We've been there. You can't be a creative without creative blocks at times. So just know that that's a thing. Like, every creative goes through it. It's not a solo experience just to you. And the fastest way I've found to get out of it is to connect with some other people. So feel free to reach out to either of us at any time if you are feeling stumped or, maybe you need to choose a different media for a little bit. Like, I got really into the hand-drawn design stuff, which, shameless plug, I'm still working a lot with. And it's been just a huge blessing and a lot of fun to work with a few different media. Digital film and hand-drawn design has been really fun. Switch it up a little, and invest in yourself. If you need some nice new pens or you need some great cotton paper or you whatever you need, if it's going to help you get out of that, like, don't feel like you're not worth investing in a little bit if it's going to get you back on your groove. That's something that I had a hard time learning, but I'm there now. I figured it out.
Yeah.
That's a great sentiment. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say the same. Just reach out. We'd love to chat. It's just so awesome talking with new people, meeting up with new people.
That's one of the best things about being a creative is, for the most part, it's a really great community. It's fun. They love everybody. It doesn't matter where you're coming from, if you're digital or not. We've got friends who do pottery. We've got friends who do all this kind of like flower pressing. I know Emily's even getting into like the dried flowers and stuff, and it's really fun to see where she's going with it. So yeah, just reach out, have fun. Like, remember why you like doing it. It's fun.
Thank you. And remind me, you're not in Duluth anymore, right?
I am not. I am now living with Jordan Pillager now in Pillager, Minnesota. It's right outside of Brainerd. I was in Duluth for like around 6 years when I went to University of Minnesota Duluth. So yeah, I lived there for 6 years, and then I did van life. And then when I came back, that's kind of what brought me to the Brainerd area. And I was really getting into my business, and Jordan, I was thankful to have met Jordan actually through Instagram. And when we met up, she was like, yeah, well, I have an extra room. Come and just live with me. And I was like, are you serious? I was like, yay, cool. And so ever since that she opened her home to me, I've been so thankful and fortunate for that. So
it's been a two-way blessing. Definitely.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Wander by Proxy. Check out Jordan Mileski's projects on Instagram at jordan.mileski and Emily Tyson's projects at emilytyson_. Handles will be in the show notes. Be sure to follow along with Wander by Proxy at Wander by Proxy Podcast and subscribe, rate, and review wherever you're listening.